Hi, it's Barb, Meeple PhD, with another Cosmic Game Connection. Did you know that 2019 is the International Year of the Periodic Table? No? Well, don't worry, I didn't know until a few weeks ago either. It turns out that this year marks the 150th anniversary of Dmitri Mendeleev publishing what would eventually become the periodic table that we know and love today. Now, I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm guessing that many of you haven't looked in detail at the periodic table since maybe junior high or high school. However, as a scientist, I have seen the table come up time and again in coursework after high school. And each time I learned new things that you could find in the table. Sometimes when you look at it, you'll see electron orbitals and think about different elements that are likely to bond together. Or maybe you'll see different chemical properties like the metallicity of a particular element. As an astronomer today, I look at the periodic table and I see the elements through cosmic time. What does that mean? Well, if you think back to the earliest stages of the universe, right after the Big Bang, the only elements present were basically hydrogen and helium. Trace amounts of other things, but not really enough to talk about. But look around you. There are elements, more elements than hydrogen and helium everywhere. Our bodies are made of water, hydrogen, and oxygen, and carbon is aplenty. You breathe in oxygen and nitrogen. You might have a ring made of platinum, or you might have gold earrings, silver necklaces. Those are all things that had to be made after the Big Bang. And a lot of those transformations have happened because of stars and their life cycles. Stars spend the bulk of their active lives fighting against gravitational collapse by fusing elements together in their core. When the core runs out of one particular element that it's fusing, it will either succumb to gravitational collapse or it will start up another fusion process based on the product of the previous process, but only if the star is massive enough. Eventually, the core will not be able to set up another fusion process, either because the star isn't massive enough to make the conditions right for that to happen, or because the core is mostly iron at that point. In either case, at that point, the star's core will collapse. If it's a smaller star, like our sun, the outer layers will puff out into the surrounding regions. If it's a larger star, the process is a lot more violent. The core collapses, there's a supernova explosion, and the power of that supernova interacting with its surrounding materials will create even heavier elements than iron. Nearly all of the elements that we see in nature have come from these processes. And when I look at the periodic table, that's what I see. As I was thinking about the periodic table and the stellar processes at work, trading elements up for other elements, the game that came to mind was Century Golem Edition, or Century Spice Road, depending on which version you prefer. Century Golem Edition is a crystal trading and hand-building game in which players take on the role of caravan leaders who are trading crystals in order to build powerful golems. Each player starts the game with a hand of 2 cards, a caravan sheet, and a number of starting crystals based on their player position. The merchant cards are shuffled and a market of 6 of those are laid out. And then the point cards, or golem cards as I prefer to call them, are also shuffled and a line of 5 of those are laid out. Players then take turns, taking one of 4 actions. They can play a card from their hand to gain or trade crystals. They can claim a merchant card and put it into their hand. They can rest, pulling up all of their previously played cards back into their hand. Or they can claim a golem card by paying the associated crystal cost. The game ends following the round in which a player has claimed their 5th or 6th golem card, depending on player count. Players then total up their scores. Player with the most points wins. In the game, the crystals have a definite hierarchy. The yellow are the most common, the easiest to find, followed by the green, and then the blue, and finally the pink are the rarest and most expensive. And it was this hierarchy of crystals and the way that players trade up crystals for other ones, that had me thinking about stars and how they trade hydrogen and helium for all of the other elements that we see around us. So the next time you find yourself trading up a crystal in Century Golem Edition, or a spice in Century Spice Road, stop for just 1 second and pretend instead that you are a star, trading up hydrogen and helium for other elements that might one day in the far future make life possible on another world orbiting another star. I'll leave you there. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. You can always reach out to me on social media or email me at barb@meeplephd.com. I'll bring you another Cosmic Game Connection next month. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as @meeplephd, and you can follow my blog at meeplephd.com. Did you know that 2019 is the periodic, it's not the periodic,